All right, my brother Win. All right.
Yes, Rich, you are in.
I
Welcome.
appreciate you. Thank you. I didn't get my normal cue.
Right.
All right,
I
here we
know. I
go.
know. I know you did. I
Here we
apologize.
go. Welcome, everybody. Happy New Year to you. Welcome to the wonderful world of Rich Blye on cmpradio.net, the voice of Chester. Oh, my goodness. It's been an incredible year so far. 5 days in, everybody. Lots of news, lots of stories. But today, we are honored, and I'm saying I'm honored to have a very special guest on our podcast today on the wonderful world of Rich Bly. And it is Ms. Andrea Silver, director for America 250 Delco, PA, everyone. I'm going to get into what Andrea Silver does as director for this program and for the upcoming celebration for our nation, the 250th anniversary. It's going to be lots of fun, lots of excitement, lots of great activities, and we need you, Americans, to get involved. So, as you all know, before I start anything, I always start with prayer and I always start with the scripture. So, Lord of hosts, we thank you for this day and we thank you for these wonderful times. We thank you for these times of peace and prosperity. We thank you for the blessings of human life. We thank you for the things that we praise your name for, Lord, the happiness of our children, the wellness of our people. And we pray for our elected officials that they give sound judgments to us, that they lead us in right paths. Lord, we thank you for each and everything that comes our way. And we look forward to having a celebration of America and a celebration of ourselves and all these things we ask. Amen. Proverbs 1. Proverbs 1, the reason for Proverbs. The reason for Proverbs are stories of praise, stories of wisdom. The Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice and judgment and equity, to subtly to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain these wise counsels. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of all knowledge, but fools despise wisdom. So, my son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother, for they shall be an ornament of grace upon thy head and chains about thy neck. Now, Andrea, yay! Y'all guys got to understand something. I first started with Juneteenth and the celebration for this date in history in Galveston, Texas. I was honored to be a part of a coalition of people to have the Delco celebration at Rose Tree Park and the Delaware County Veterans Memorial. I've had the pleasure of meeting Andrea and working with her and talking with her and emailing her over the various parts of that program, and it was an absolute success. Since I've been off, and everybody knows the story for the past 2 years, there are things that need to be reshaped and restructured, and I'm quite sure we're going to get to that. But what I want to get to right now is to give everybody the opportunity to understand exactly what America 250 Delco, PA is. So, Andrea, take it away.
Thank you so much for having me here today. It's always a pleasure to talk a little bit more and tell more of the community about what we're planning for 2026. So many people know 2026 is the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, and that's the day that we celebrate as the founding of America. And what we are doing over this time around, because it's different than some of your listeners may remember 1976 and the bicentennial and how it was celebrated there. And every 50 years, we get a chance to stop and think about what does it mean to be American? What kind of history are we celebrating? How are we taking stock of how we got here? And where do we want to go in the future? And that's the spirit that Delaware County has taken up as part of the celebration, because we don't want it to be a celebration just of our colonial history, although we are that old, so we can.
Right.
We have, and Chester can own that because
yes,
we have a Declaration of Independence signer buried right in Chester.
Absolutely.
So I absolutely expect people who are maybe traveling to see all of the Declaration signers' graves all up and down the Eastern Seaboard, I would not be surprised if you find some people wandering around trying to find where that memorial is, and some of the other colonial historical sites that we have in Chester. We do expect many, many people to come to celebrate that slice of American history. But what we want to make sure, and what we learned from 1976, is that there's so much more history that has happened that is about advancing democracy and all of the people it took to advance democracy. And so in our Delaware County celebration, we have reached out to historical groups, but also civic organizations and art centers and museums and businesses and higher educational institutions, and said, how do you want to celebrate this? And it's really a community sourced celebration. So it's a bottom up celebration of the people by the people, which is why we say we the people of Delco.
Right. So that term bottom up, this is a unique opportunity for businesses, nonprofits, entrepreneurs, just folks who, understand the spirit of celebration to really jump on top of this and promote themselves and as well promote the birth of our nation. What are some of the opportunities you would say that a lot of folks would have, say I want to talk about Delco, but specifically, I really want the folks of Chester to understand what's in it for them to celebrate. Because as you know, we've had a lot of different things, different ways with people thinking about our country the way that they do. And I'm not going to get into any of that. We all know the stories. What I care about is that how does Chester benefit by understanding the message that you're getting and how they can be a part of it to enhance their nonprofits and other businesses?
So 2026 is not only an opportunity to expand the public's awareness of the deep history that Chester has. So I often say that Chester needs to be part of the statewide celebration because it was the first city in Pennsylvania. And people go, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. So changing people's perception of a space and a place, it starts with a lot of different, I want to say, ways of approaching that narrative. And one of the things we can do is give depth and breadth to the community that is Chester, who has re-envisioned itself over 300 years, that it will continue to do so. And that's one of the ways we're doing that is by telling a couple of the key stories of Chester history. So of course, we're going to start off with John Morton and our Declaration of Independence signer because you have a memorial there. But we also have the 1724 courthouse that is currently under restoration and will have a ribbon cutting and an opening. And that space is managed by the county, but it is a space opened up to nonprofits in Delaware County. So any nonprofit will be able to reserve that space for public programming. If they'd like to come in and do a class or a lecture, they can get in touch with Parks and Recreation. And so that is a new public space. That is an old public space, but because it is going through $1 million worth of restoration, it will be ready and available to the public again, which is just fantastic because, restoration is historic preservation and historic restoration is hard won to get those funding dollars.
Right.
So it's an exciting collaboration between the state and the county, and hopefully more nonprofits will step up because they want to do educational programming in this space.
Absolutely. A lot of people talk about Mr. Morton and being one of the signers for, the Declaration of Independence. He had to hurry up, and ride into town, to be one of the signers.
Right. He was the tiebreaker vote.
Yes.
I think is really cool. I think I've read about John Morton's story. Mm-hmm. He's actually pretty cool because he was born on American soil, and his father died, and so his mother is a single mother who had to get remarried, and his stepfather is the one who trained him to be a land surveyor to help him, become a leader on American soil in a new American community. So for him, fighting the Revolutionary War was about fighting a war for his own homeland where he was born. He didn't go to college. He wasn't a wealthy guy. and he was just respected by his neighbors. And they elevated him to become an elected official and to serve on the court system. And so he didn't want to sign. Things were very comfortable in Delaware County, and he was very apprehensive about starting a war. But then when it came down to it and a tough choice had to be made, he voted for revolution.
Absolutely. And again, for a lot of folks, they're trying to understand American history. Again, Chester being the first city, Chester having the amount of history that it has, not only inside of it, but outside of it. Like right outside of Chester, you have Chichester, you have Chester County, and you have Brandywine. So I'm just going to jump a little bit because I'm excited about this 4th of July activities with the Brandywine Historical Society.
The Brandywine Battlefield.
Yeah, with the Brandywine Battlefield.
Brandywine Battlefield Park has some very exciting stuff going on. So they have something called the Amazing Race to Brandywine, where they're encouraging folks to sign up, and it's a rally race throughout the entire Brandywine Battlefield area.
Wow.
And so they're doing this to get people excited and get new people to come to visit the battlefield. They have brews at the battlefield. They have normal hours, which is, you can come and see George Washington's house and meet reenactors. They have some other programming that they're getting ready to roll out. And then in September, they do the reenactment. And in 2027 is when we'll have the major reenactment, because in 2027 is the 250th anniversary of the Brandywine Battlefield. So you're going to see it start in 2026. But there'll be over 4,000 people in Chadds Ford for that reenactment.
Wow. That's amazing. I mean, and for a lot of folks in Chester, again, they're saying, okay, I get the part of historical preservation. I get this part of being part of volunteerism. What's really in it for me to gain something or to enhance, or what does Delco, PA do? And I want you to talk about the portals that you have open.
Yeah. So one of the things that we're trying to do to leave a legacy is to help support nonprofits in their volunteer engagement and recruitment and getting new folks involved, because as you said before, a lot of our folks are aging. But today, when you look at contemporary media, we love history. You can't turn television on without there being some really interesting, historical drama on TV with amazing ratings. So there's plenty of folks who love history and want to be involved in history. And the cool thing about all of these volunteer projects that are rolling out next year is that it lets you meet other people who like history too. So if you love history and you're kind of a secret, I've met a lot of people who are like secret history nerds. Right. And I'm like, you can come out and meet your people now. Your people are all coming out. So it's definitely an opportunity. And I can put on my social science hat and say, the epidemic of loneliness in America. But the truth is, you're going to meet friends who love to do what you want to do, who really want you to be there. Can show up without a costume and they'll say, we have clothes you can wear.
Absolutely.
They just, so we're launching a portal called Delco Volunteers, where any nonprofit organization who's doing a civic project, so it could be a cleanup, it could be a neighborhood cleanup, who's doing a historical project, it could be a church, it could be a faith-based organization, really schools, groups, nonprofits can come and get a free license to the Golden Volunteer Management Platform. And it allows you to set up all of these volunteer opportunities. I need 10 people to be in the parking lot and help direct people because we are a volunteer group of 5 people, and now we have 4,000 people coming to our location this weekend.
Right.
And we need the community to come in and pitch in because 90% of the historical organizations are volunteer run.
Absolutely. I mean, I for one, with my American Legion in Upper Darby Township, we do everything volunteer. Everything is community based. Everything is pretty much word of mouth or through social media. And with our American Legion, again, we try our best to make impact with those who may feel less impactful or may feel as though that they don't have a voice, so to say. So, we wrap ourselves not only around our veterans and our family of veterans, but we also wrap ourselves around the community as a whole, because these are the things that we have fought for the betterment and the improvement of all Americans and all of its citizens and naturalized citizens and those who seek refuge here. We want to show that this spirit of volunteerism is something that's organic and it's American made. It's always been a part of America to reach out to your neighbors and be a part of it. So to hear about that there's a volunteer portal, I know a lot of folks, when they're having these events, that is the biggest issue. Finding folks who are like-minded to want to be a part of what others are doing and then bring what they're doing as well and add it to the mix. That's the biggest part, I believe, in the spirit of Americanism, is that, yes, we're all a big melting pot, but will our melts meld to the point where we learn more from you and learn more here from you over here? So some of the service projects, what have they looked like coming to the portal so far? What have you seen, and what do you think that we should be talking to people about, or what you're actually looking for to help move this vehicle?
So right now, we just opened the portal a couple weeks ago. So you're not when you go there, you're not going to see a whole lot of projects. But I'm very proud. We have Green Lawn Cemetery, who is run by a senior citizen, and he went in and he set up his license, and we were on the phone with him, walking him through the process. But he's put up his first volunteer opportunity for cleanups at Green Lawn Cemetery, which, as you know, has a lot of veterans who are buried there. We also have the Haverford Arts Festival is looking for volunteers. I had some volunteers. I have about 15 different organizations who have set up their accounts and are loading in their volunteer opportunities for all the events throughout the year. And so what you'll see really is between January and March, a whole bunch more opportunities get loaded in there. Everything from tree plantings to the street festivals. I have in there the 4th annual Delaware County Martin Luther King Day of Service in Chester is listed. I added just the Peace March part of that day, which starts at 9 a.m. With some remarks at City Hall. And then there's a Peace March from City Hall to Widener, and afternoon activities both at Widener University as well as the downtown Cat Center. And then in the evening, Widener University, for the very first time, is doing a Hoops for Hunger event, where they're putting together a basketball game and they're asking people to come and bring a food donation, and maybe, if you can, make a $5 donation, but just to support hunger relief. And so that's a new activity for this year, which I'm really excited about. I think it will be fun.
Yes, that actually started getting a lot of press earlier today with various different outlets and sources, and I saw that happening. That a lot of folks are really excited about that, with Widener and a couple other places really starting to open up their doors to the community of Chester. Again, Chester, to me, and this is why I come here, is on the rise. I think that they have good leadership. I believe that there's a lot of nonprofits that share the same vision and share the same dream of seeing a united Chester, seeing things work differently than what they've seen in the past. And again, this is not to throw shade or dirt anywhere. It's just that when people want to rise and improve themselves, they have to look at where they come from to see where they're going. And I think that what the atmosphere now in Chester is that they want to see themselves go now. But a lot of times they're still stuck with a lot of things from the past, or how things used to work, or not understanding how things work, because sometimes that could be a deterrent as well. So how can they reach out to you? What if you want to provide your information for folks here that are listening now and they're going to be listening during the rest of the week, if you want to provide your information for them to get in contact with you and talk further, how can they do that, Andrea?
So the best way to learn about, get in touch with me, is to go to the website at America250padelco.org. We are the Delaware County America 250 Commission. If you Google it, we pop right up. On there, it has links to the Delco Volunteers Initiative. It also has all of the events So the way that our organization is running is we're an umbrella organization for 100 nonprofits in the county. Because one of the things we're trying to do is also remind people that you may be, I've met folks who were born in Chester, but now they live in Media, were born in Ridley Park, and now they live in Springfield, that you can go back to the old neighborhood and help out for a day because you can friends who live there. And so that's one of our hopes, is that with Delco volunteers, we can put those volunteer opportunities up, and it becomes so much easier to share them outside of just the email list or just the Facebook followers that you have on your own page. But now it'll get pumped out to a broader community of people. And you may get somebody coming who never thought that they could come before. So that's one of the ways is to really, we're on Facebook at America 250 PA Delco. We're on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. Haven't done the TikTok yet. I'm showing that age.
We should do one Friday.
Yeah. So on Friday, we have our big kickoff fundraising event for the year. And actually, Mayor Roots is going to be there. So I'm very excited and grateful that he's supportive of the initiative. We know he loves history. He's been doing his mayoral history lectures. So, what we're trying to do is definitely amplify some of the work of the Chester Arts and Creative Technology Center. Twyla Simpkins has a couple organizations that she's working with to tell Delaware County history. The other thing I want to make sure Chester folks know about is you're going to get some FIFA folks come in. And so in 2026, Chester is going to be a practice site for one of the international teams. And that means that every day that team is going to get on a bus, because their hotel is a 5-star hotel and the only one close by is in Wilmington. So they're going to get on a bus and they're going to come and they're going to spend their whole day at Subaru Park in the new practice facilities. But the thing about European or international, actually, because there's a lot of South American and a couple of African teams who are going to come, is that they come for 3-4 weeks at a time. And they're going to come and hang out where those teams are practicing. So the other thing to keep in mind as far as opportunity goes is you're going to have folks perhaps from different countries who are going to come and want to watch their famous football star, but they're going to need to get somewhere to eat for lunch, somewhere to eat for breakfast. They're going to look around and go, what is here? What can I do while I'm here between practice things? So all of this sort of neighborhood cleanup, making it look welcoming, you speak another language, especially if you speak the language of that team, letting people know that you speak that language is a huge help, because you're going to have a tourist who may not speak English very well. And as soon as they have someone who speaks their language, you'll see their shoulders will relax, they will feel happy, they will feel welcomed. And one of that opportunity is to make an impression on the world. Americans are really good at one-on-one as citizen diplomats, letting people know how welcoming we are, how helpful we are, and how much we want people to enjoy their time while they're visiting us here in America.
Right. And I like what you mentioned about, the fact that folks are going to be coming here to Chester. They're going to be looking for things to do. And I think that this is a great opportunity for a lot of the local restaurants that have just started from last year or have been around for the past 5 years or so, that have been giving in this community, that have been doing things in this community, and they're looking for opportunities. And some of the things that I've said to a lot of the business owners is that catering, getting your menu printed up in the language of the people, having the translator app for your phone. If you can't speak the language, translate it.
International visitors. So before I was in this role, I spent 7 years welcoming international guests through the City of Philadelphia Sister Cities program and the State Department's International Visitor Leadership Program. So I welcomed 1,000 international visitors from 122 countries a year. And what I would say to any business owner is, you never know who's going to show up on your doorstep. You will know probably in March what team is going to be practicing at the Sub. And so when you know who that team is, yes, you could make sure your menu is translated into that language. Make sure your website is translatable. We
Yes.
usually say, make sure your Google business listing is up to date.
Yes.
Make sure your website is up to date.
Yes.
Catering is one thing, but when you're talking about travelers, you're really talking about groups of 2 or 4. They're small group travelers. They're just going to be looking for an interesting thing to do. And one of the things, another opportunity that I can offer different business owners is, if you're a restaurant and you're going to have a red, white, and blue milkshake, on social media, tell us about your red, white, and blue milkshake and tag me so that I can share it back out to my community. Because I think that Americans are going to be really creative about how they want to honor their history, and businesses can choose what kind of history they want to honor and who they think should be remembered, and they can use their products and their creativity and their campaigns to do so. And I get to amplify all of that.
I'm gonna tell you, Andrea, I love that the first time back in December when you brought that up, the red, white, and blue milkshake or some type of red, white, and blue themed drink. Being in the restaurant industry for over 35 years, I have several ideas that I'm going to try out and put into that portal and see how it works. But right now, I'm looking at different ways to do it, and also making sure that it's user friendly, so to speak, because again, like you said, there are a lot of folks that are international. They're going to come and they're going to use all of their senses to feel, see, and taste and everything like that. But we don't want to be so obtrusive that we turn them off with the first thing that they get. So I want to make sure that I field test what my idea is, because I may like it and my family may like it, but the rest of the world doesn't like it, then it's a waste of time, and then you're stuck with all this inventory. So,
it's true. I think you're going to get some folks who would love to go to Fatso's and get a red, white, and blue donut because it's a homemade American fare. And the other thing is to think about is the festivals, right, that we have. And if Chester is having a Juneteenth festival, that's an opportunity to bring folks down. Visit Delco is doing the Delco 10 miler again in October. So that brought almost 2,000 people running through the streets of Chester. And it was fantastic. People had a wonderful time last year. They anticipate it to be even larger next year.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you brought up Juneteenth in Chester. I've talked to people. I talked to Miss Sylvia Myers, years ago about how to do the celebration, not the ceremony, but the celebration part, because, I needed to learn. And I know that Chester has always been at the forefront with its Juneteenth program. It's a great program. I saw it for the first time before COVID hit, and I was, blown away and amazed with what they had done, and it gave me inspiration, of course, to do some of the things that I was doing. But that's what I'm talking about, is that organizations here in Chester that have been holding on and keeping on and doing certain things, looking for these opportunities. And I just want them to know that today is your day. You're hearing it first here at cmpradio.net. You're hearing it straight from the source. You don't have to, hey, who's that, man? Films, I'm here. Hey, how you doing? You're hearing it straight from the source, and you're getting it straight from the source. And this is a wide open opportunity, folks. I mean, wide open. It's a great place for you with your nonprofits, with your businesses, if you're entrepreneurial, if you have all your certifications, if you have all your permits, and you have time to get these things done. You have time to plan. You have time to put together something that says, welcome, America. And it's time for us to really put these things together and help one another with these opportunities, vendors, volunteerism, service projects, the 4th of July, FIFA soccer coming. And I'm going to talk to you about that off camera, about some ideas I got for that. Because again, Andrea, when I told you that I came in December, I was absolutely, absolutely happy to be in the room. You spoke about the bicentennial. I'm a bicentennial kid, and I was, a bicentennial kid. And I tell people that the spirit of 76, the movie 1776, the play 1776 is something that I grew up with as a kid. I went to Bodine High School for International Affairs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember being that young. So when I express these things, a lot of folks go, hey, why are you like this? This is what I grew up in. I grew up in the culture of Americanism. I grew up internationally. All of my friends are international folks. I just don't have a certain group of people. I'm all about meeting new people, making friends fast, and learning about their culture. So I think that this would be a great opportunity. I also want to express that for a lot of veterans organizations that have things going on, because that's kind of a lost dynamic right now with our veterans population. I know that we have older, we have younger, and we have somewhat in between. And through our endeavors, it's kind of hard to pull some of these veterans groups together to, come and be a part of it. I know a lot of them will always be there for you, like the Marine Corps League. I know they got something coming. I know that there's a couple American Legions that are going to absolutely, put their foot forward, and our American Legion is absolutely available as well. But for the veterans, what is it that you think that they could add or enhance for this celebration from a ground level standpoint?
So I've been talking to a couple different leaders in the Delaware County veterans community. So Colonel Jenkins at the Delaware County Department of Veterans Affairs, talking with the Delaware County Veterans Memorial, talking with Army USA, talking with a couple of our legions. And I'm very aware that there are a lot of legions and VFWs who are already running on a bare bones staff. And when we ask what are you looking for? Yes, someone says FIFA welcoming party at an American Legion. Yes, you can. I'm sure you can get something going for some parties. There'll be once you know what teams are coming, then people can have watch parties. But that's really the energy that I think that how I think veterans organizations can benefit is really with bringing the young people and families out to activities together, right? Veterans want to be active. They want to do things. So bringing a group of veterans to participate in something like the Delco Run, bringing folks together to do these active. Another project that Natural Lands is doing is called Trek 250, where they're challenging folks to do 250 miles of hiking. Now, Delaware County has miles and miles of hikeable historical forests, actually. But these are the opportunities for folks to come out and do activities together and build bonds and build friendships, and at the same time participate in some of these activities. And I would say, when I look at where do we need volunteers? We need volunteers, firefighters. We need volunteers in our historical organizations. And I know a lot of our veterans are looking for those opportunities to make a difference in their community. And I hope that Delco volunteers will open up some new doors for them so they can find those communities to be a part of, because they're very much wanted. I know 32,000 veterans in Delaware County.
Yes, and that's a large number, and that's something that I believe is achievable if we all put it together to not only welcome our veterans, but make them feel like, hey, that you are part of it, if not, the person on the stage. Speaking of veterans, I just want to bring up Colonel Jenkins. Colonel Jenkins, who is, in charge of Veterans and Military Affairs in media. When he took this job, one of the things that he's expressed to me, I love Colonel Jenkins. I love this man. He expressed to me, Rich, I'm going to be on the job. I'm going to do more for veterans. I'm going to get veterans spotlighted. I'm really going to do this. So I just want to say this, that on January the 10th at 11 o'clock at the media courthouse at the county council room, you can come and listen to veteran authors and memoir keepers. The Delaware County Military and Veterans Affairs Department is calling on all Delco veterans and their families who have authored books or kept memoirs, journals regarding military service, and they want you to contact their office that's located in the media courthouse. This gathering on the 10th of January from 11 to 1 at the Media Courthouse inside of the County Council Conference Room is going to be a great look, because I went to the first book reading and memoir writing, and there were veterans there that gave very powerful, impactful, life-changing stories and experiences. Being the son of a veteran, I have my own thing, but hearing it from others and hearing it from men and women who served this country with distinction and honor, I think this would be a good kickoff for folks if you really want to meet a veteran and hear from their experience, because we know that veterans normally don't talk about their experiences, especially combat veterans. But I want to implore the folks today. We have a bigger venue. We were at the Sharon Hill Library in December. I think it was November, rather. We were at the Sharon Hill Library, and it was still kind of busy with the library and stuff. And a lot of the veterans expressed that they wanted us to, move the venue and have it someplace where they can really express themselves. So Colonel Jenkins, again, listen to that, and he's going to make that happen. So that could be something for folks that you can get started with the veterans experience and come and join, or contact your local American Legion or your VFW and see how you can participate, become a member, sign up, volunteer, or whatever, and let's get these veterans out here. So again,
I also want to say that I am the liaison to America 250 PA for the county, and that's the statewide initiative. And they have something called the Proud PA Service Member Spotlight, where any resident of Delaware County, if they have a service member that they would like to be spotlighted statewide on social media, can nominate them. And if you go to my website, they're under programs and projects. There's a link to how you can click and fill out the form to nominate a service member that you feel like should be spotlighted. So that is one way that the state initiative is trying to promote and acknowledge veterans of all ages and all contributions. And so I am connected to those things. I also want to say that many of the historical societies have said, if anybody needs a space to do a program, please let us know. We'd love to make our space available to them. So places like the Willows Park Preserve, which is a mansion. It's one of the Gilded Age mansions. It's really a public project. It's a public space now. So there can be programs there. But there are other historical houses that would love to host programs if there are veterans groups that want to come and go into a different kind of location. That's something that I can connect them to, and I'd be happy to.
Absolutely, and that's what it is, folks. This connectivity that Chester has with Delco should be symbiotic. It should be where we're in the position to receive information first, so that way we can move our pieces together separately, individually, collectively. But again, for Chester residents, this opportunity right here, you are the first city. You are the first city. You have front row seats pretty much to, get yourselves in there, find out more. Contact my friend Andrew Silva. Please contact her. Trust me, she's busy, but I can tell you this. I know how busy you are. I contacted you once, you contacted me right back. And I can tell you guys, that is the most beautiful thing when someone says, hey, reach out to me, and that person reaches back to you. That says something right there. So, I really want to thank you for that.
Make sure that I'm not, I really am trying to make sure that I can engage communities, all 49 municipalities across Delaware County. Now I'm a team of 1.5.
Yeah.
So, if you don't hear from me, it's because my intern is out that week. But we're growing because we have a little bit of grant money to fund a Delco volunteer staff person for the rest of the year. What I wanted, the other thing I wanted to make sure your listeners knew about was that if you are a business owner who produces commemorative products, so if you're a t-shirt printer and you're going to make your own t-shirts, if you're a cocktail server that goes around, I've talked to cocktail people who are coming up with colonial cocktails, and it's something that you want to provide to other people. I'm putting together a directory of Delaware County businesses that are providing American-made commemorative products or services, so that when people want to celebrate, when they want to plant a red, white, and blue garden, when they want to have their picnic, when they want to, buy their products, that they can buy them locally, because we don't want people to buy their American flags from China. We want them to buy them from American businesses.
Right.
And we want to encourage people to come out and buy from our local corporations and small businesses. So that's something that there is on my website. It says, hey, if you have a product, reach out, send an email to Renee at America 250 Pa Delco. Renee is helping me coordinate some of these folks, and we're hoping to get a web page launched that can link out to different people. Some of the companies we're working with are donating a percentage of sales back to America 250 Pa Delco, so that we can support our mini grants that we're giving out to the community. So when we sponsor a volunteer day, we're looking for different volunteer days to sponsor all across the county, probably 10 or 12 next year. Wawa has partnered with us to provide pretzels and water to those volunteers. And we're also putting together small grants so we can pay for, if there's trees to be planted, if there's trash bags that needed, or art supplies or paint or whatever that is needed for that volunteer day. So when we're talking about what am I raising money for, I'm raising money so that we can support these volunteer level events across the county and the organizations who are putting on these events.
Right. And so we'll be in the room with a lot of these groups on Friday. Hello?
You're muted.
Oh, did somebody just mute me? Hold on. Muted. Hold on. Bryce, you got me? Bryce? Hold on.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but she says I'm muted.
Andrea, you can't hear me?
I can't hear either one of you all of a sudden.
All right, hold on. I gotta figure this out.
Yeah.
And I didn't touch the
Can you hear us now?
I had my hands away from
I didn't touch anything else. See my hands right where you can see them. Can you hear us now?
No, I don't think so.
No?
No.
Oh, no.
Here, talk about this while I fix that.
Okay, so while we're having technical difficulties, and oh my God, we're having technical. I want to talk about something that's extremely, extremely important. This is for my very, 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 very good friend, Mr. Earl Weeks. What I learned about the Civil War, as far as the soldiers from the United States colored troops that have fought and have died, is that their story is one to be told, to be heard, and to be respected. But as you know, people grow old and people move on. So the third United States colored troop Civil War reactors of Philadelphia are recruiting. We are recruiting African American males for Civil War soldier recruits. We're also recruiting African American females for Civil War civilian recruits as well. We're looking for children, men, and women to come and join us and volunteer as a reenactor. You can contact Mr. Weeks at 267. What's that? 632. Hold on a second. Let me pull this thing up the right way.
267-632-3533.
There you go. Thank you, sir, because I don't have
problem.
this on my phone right now. But again, please contact Mr. Weeks. I'm going to be in contact with him in the next several days to see how I can assist with him. Again, Andrea had said before that they were looking to, do some fantastic type of information to them to get them, new uniforms. These men and women who do these reenactments, a lot of them don't get paid.
No, they don't.
A lot of them receive like $300 in a ham sandwich. Okay, and I'm being very honest.
Very honest.
And for the amount and the wealth of history that they have, and I want to say this for Black Chester, for the amount of history that these men and women have, and we give a lot of money to a lot of different people for a lot of stupid stuff, but we let our history die. Are we? Andrea wants to know: are we reconnecting or are we wrapped up?
We can reconnect if she wants to. She can jump back on. Tell her to jump back on. She got to get back on.
Hold on.
I had to kick her. I had to kick her off. Not on purpose.
Yeah.
But no, I had to make sure her was talking to the system. There's something going on. I got to get Restream. I got to talk to them about this. But it's been happening the last couple of times. Maybe I need to unload it and boot it back up or whatever. But no, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you for bringing this information to the forefront. I appreciate you for talking about it. Yeah, the wonderful world of Rich Blye, man. I definitely appreciate this podcast. I definitely appreciate everything.
Listen, bro, like I said, we have to really start doing for self as a community. And this is the second part of the segment that I want to get into. If Andrew comes back in, I'll get off of it, but I'm going to get into this right now. It's a brand new year. And I made a post. I waited until after New Year's. I made a post the other day. I put a lot of people on my back over the years. Okay? A lot. Okay? And I'm not saying it's mean or malicious or coming at anybody. It's not. It's matter of fact. It's a point where I have to say that there are people who have watched us fight, watched us struggle, watched us build, watch us get, kicked down or, attacked or whatever, how you ever want to call it, and we've survived. Hi, Andrew's back. Can you hear us? No?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
That's not good.
Yeah, no, that's not good.
I can hear you now.
You hear us?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're good.
I'm out.
Okay. So I'm gonna go back in. Again, Friday is just days away. What can somebody? I've been telling people to go on to the website to look at some of the tiers as far as sponsorships, and I've seen that the sponsorship tier has been added. Two more top tiers. I was like, wow. So
on Friday is the We the People party.
Mm-hmm.
As I said before, most of the events that will happen next year will be free and open to the public because they're being run by municipalities or nonprofit groups or festivals. But Friday is the We the People party, which is a fundraiser for 2026 programs. So it is the one time where I am going to ask people to buy a ticket where a portion of your ticket proceeds supports our education, volunteer, and public programming. And this will be the only time that I really ask people to make a donation or contribution.
Right.
Tickets start at $150, which is a very high ticket price. I know it's a fundraiser. But if someone can't attend that, next week on the 14th, there is another event. The state has a kickoff. The America 250 PA State kickoff is from 11:30 to 1 at the county courthouse, and that is free. So what we're really trying to make sure is that this is a celebration for everybody at any economic level. That there are things for everybody to participate in.
Which is why I volunteered and I bought a ticket.
Yes, you get double credit.
Listen. When I sat in that room in Lansdowne, that this is very exciting for me, and I want to contribute in any positive way. This is absolutely what I love, and I kid you not. I'm so excited about this. I was waiting for this podcast. I was waiting for it like Christmas, because this is the feeling that I have personally about my country, about the people in it, about the spirit of America. This is what I love. I know that we all have our isms. We got our past. We got a whole bunch of slew of things that we can do. But there's so much more positiveness in this country through all of our people from various backgrounds and nationalities. If we just take a moment to take off these vestiges of me just to become we. You know, we just have to take the me out of it, turn that M into a W, and we'll get along just fine. We really, really will. So I'm really looking forward to Friday. I'm really looking forward to the 14th. There's another event that's coming up with a young lady who is a Civil War reenactor herself.
Cathay Williams, Dr.
Yes.
Century, Dr. Daisy Century.
Yes.
So Dr. Daisy Century is she does a few different characters. She is going to be Harriet Tubman at the We the People party, but she has another performance at Newman University on February 5th at 1:30. It's only $10 for a ticket, and she will be doing a short performance on the story of Cathay Williams, who was a woman who enlisted in the U.S. military in the 1860s as William Cathay, because they were so passionate about serving. They served in the 38th U.S. Infantry Regiment while concealing their identity as a woman. And so Dr. Century is going to tell us about this fascinating historical biography, and it'll be at Newman University. And we do hope the public comes out and enjoys that.
I think I volunteered for that one too. I'm not sure. I know I volunteered for. Listen, Andrew, I'm kid you not. You're gonna see me. I'm gonna be there as a volunteer. I mean,
these events are reasons for, if you love history and you have a friend who loves history too, go out to an event, listen to the history, go out afterward, get a beer together, enjoy yourselves, and connect around what you're celebrating.
Absolutely.
And that's what this is about, because you're going to meet other people there who love these stories too. And that's how we create a connected community.
Yes. Absolutely. So, Andrea, listen, I know we're getting close to time. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I'm absolutely going to make sure that all of your information gets put onto our website, that people can access it at any time. I'm looking forward to hearing from the folks of Chester, especially these businesses in Chester. There are opportunities for you. All you have to do is just open up your heart, open up your Americanism, and let's go. As far as Honest Abraham 45, excuse me, sir, I have something coming at the American Legion. I do. I promise you. We have plans in the work at our American Legion to be a destination spot, so to speak. We want to make this happen there. I'm working out the particulars with my commander. I'm working out the particulars with several interested groups of people to see how we can enhance it at the Upper Darby level. You're
a wonderful watch party site. You got a bar. You can handle 10 tables, 100 people there. You got to be and a beautiful screen. So people should totally gather.
Listen, Andrea, I tell people all of the time, prior to anything else that I've ever done, I've been in the food service industry since 1999 as a manager, as a general manager, as a person in charge, as an auditor, as a consultant, as a troubleshooter, you name it with the restaurant biz, I've done it, from dishwashing to managing people. And one of the things that you're absolutely right is that it's hard for people to buy into an idea that you're selling. But if they see the work being done and they can get into that collaborative spirit, they'll see that anything is possible. And at our American Legion, we've always thought outside the box of anything that we've done anyway. And that's what's kept us in existence under Lisa Kelly, my commander, is that she thinks outside of the box. We just don't do things one way. We look at how people are. It's always about the people. It's always how we take care of them and the respect that we give them. It just comes back. So we're looking forward to really spearheading something really, really soon. And I'm really going to be excited when I stuff that into that portal that you have over there. I think you're really going to love what we're going to come up with. But I am working on something along those lines, Honest Abraham, and cheesesteaks are definitely on the menu. Definitely.
Fantastic. Well, we hope anyone who wants to come out to the We the People party, tickets are still on sale. We still have a couple more seats that we can fit more folks in by Friday. It's going to be a really fun and delicious night.
Absolutely. It's $150 for the lowest ticket, but again, it is also tax deductible.
Yeah.
Okay. It's also tax deductible. So again, this is about long term, folks. This is about you getting an investment back for what you're putting into. You are getting something back. It's not just a one-off. It's the beginning. It's a platform. It's a springboard. It's something that continues way after the celebration for the Constitution, way after the celebration for the birth of the nation, that will catapult you into national, local, and maybe even international markets by what you can come up with. So that's how you should approach this. Look at this as a long-term investment. Look at this as there's a short-term celebration, yes, but a long-term investment, because that's how I'm looking at it. I see so many different opportunities to reach so many different people on so many different levels. And that's what I'm excited about, because it's possible. You know, most times people don't get in these spaces. And like I told everybody, it's wide open. This is wide open. It's wide open. There's no pushback. There's no, oh, we don't want you. No. We want everyone. Everyone belongs.
Absolutely. And if you don't see something there, if you don't see something coming out of America 250 Delco that fits your concept of what should be there, then there's opportunity. We're adding more community program partners. So I'm not really going to shut down the portal for new events and new programs until we really start getting, say, close to April.
Right.
So if there are other organizations that want to do something, I know that, the MLK legacy needs support, and, people are interested in giving some more awareness and volume. I know the church that is there, that has that where he's preached and where he learned to preach, and they probably need some volunteers and support. I know that the cemetery where John Morton is buried, absolutely they need volunteers, because unfortunately that cemetery has there's a little bit of help from the DAR. But what really needs to happen is folks who live in Chester need to value that space, and it's a very special place. There's actually a lot of young children who are buried in that space, and women who are buried in that space, and so it's a fascinating place that has lots of opportunity to become special to the community again.
Correct. And here's the caveat, folks. As we all know, people have to, if they're not working or going to school, have to provide themselves with an opportunity to do some volunteer work in order to keep certain benefits. Here's a perfect opportunity for you guys, built right on in. You don't have to go look for something. You don't have to research it. It's wide open. Volunteer yourself and get these hours during this time period. There's something going on. You can get those 20 hours per week. You can definitely get it at our Upper Darby American Legion. We have stuff for you to do. Like I said, we're not going to make you, sweep up trash and things like that. What we want you to do is come in and learn. Sit down and take a class with us. Learn. That to me is more part of volunteerism, where you come in and you're sitting in a classroom setting. You're learning about America. You're learning about citizenship, and you're, meeting that requirement. Again, we might have some special projects on some painting or something like that on a certain day, but it's volunteerism shouldn't be backbreaking work. It should be enjoyable work where you're learning and working at the same time, and you gain something spiritual, you gain something educational out of it, and then you can take it back to people. And that's the spirit of volunteerism. It's not just what you provide, it's also what you get in return that you can impart to others. That's just my take with volunteerism.
And Delco volunteers, the golden platform, what happens is you as an individual, you sign up for an account, and then you can volunteer for any project. But when you do that and you finish a volunteer opportunity, you can get a certificate of hours. So I was able to negotiate that with the platform provider. They actually gave us sort of the Cadillac of volunteer programs as a sponsor for a 65% discount, so Delaware County can use it. So when I say to nonprofits, this is a $1,200 platform that you get with a free license that I would negotiate for you to have. And so I want you to take advantage of it. From a nonprofit perspective, there's tools there that will help you communicate with people that will hopefully, if you use it enough, you'll grow your volunteer base.
Absolutely.
Designed and backed by science to socially motivate people. You can give each other carrots. So if someone was really cool, you can be like, I love you, you were cool, I'm going to give you some points. And you can get credit hours and you can get your certificate to show that your volunteer hours were there. There are volunteer projects. The Delaware County Historical Society has some history research projects where you would go and maybe, help scan or help read script writing. Because if you know how to read script, you're becoming an expert, but not everyone knows how to read script anymore. So there's opportunities that are not physical that you should be able to do as well.
Absolutely. And we have a lot of young people who are just coming up and wanting to expose themselves to the knowledge. We have a lot of wonderful young people here with some of our segment creators that come in and they want to immerse themselves in the culture. It's just that a lot of times they are apprehensive because they don't know how to get there. Now, through...
There is a content creator. If there is a human being who would like to create content for any historical site in Delaware County, call me and I will make an introduction, because while many of our historical sites have incredibly expert and intelligent and qualified folks who are historians, there is very difference between being a historian and being a storyteller.
Right.
So I think that there's plenty of opportunities to create interesting and fun content across lots of platforms. But I do not have anyone on staff full time doing content. So, and most of these organizations don't have anyone creating content. So if there's a content creator who wants to do a series, I can connect them with the historians and the sites that they would like to get that content made.
I can't wait to get done with this podcast, because I'm going to send this various places and things, and even outside of Delco. This America celebration is happening all across the country in just about every city. So if you're listening from on my platform and you're from a different area, we're talking about America 250 Delco, but it's America 250. Okay, so that means
in America will have their own celebration. Internationally, you'll probably see celebrations at all 120 U.S. embassies across the world that will come out with their own embassy-specific celebrations to gather expats in to the U.S. embassies so that they can celebrate too. I know I was in Italy on the 4th of July one time, and it was super fun to have a barbecue. And they were all looking around at us like, look at those Americans having a barbecue. They had a good time. And we got to talk all about American culture and why we celebrate what we do. So that's going to be happening all over the world. And, all eyes will be on Philadelphia next year between the MLB and the FIFA World Cup. We will have millions and millions of eyes on the greater Philadelphia region next year.
It
is here.
Yes, it is here. And for everyone, please understand, these folks that are coming into our region, they don't understand the Delco Philadelphia border. Okay, to them, it's I'm in Philly. Okay, don't discourage them. Don't say, "Oh no, you in Chester, man. You in Chester." If they say I'm from the Philadelphia region, embrace it, please. Don't push back on them. Let them have that moment of being here. And then when they go home, they go, oh, wait a minute. I wasn't really in Philly. I was in Chester. And, and then they'll have those conversations. But it's been said, and this has been studied, folks. There have been folks that have gone out to various other cities. They've gathered content and information. They chewed over the numbers. They've talked to other people that have been doing this for a while. And they have expressed to us, open up our borders. Do not say, oh, this is Philly, this is Delco, this is Upper Darby, blah, blah, blah. We are all part of Delaware County. We're all part of the Delaware Valley. We're all part of it. So be encouraging. If you have to, have a conversation to correct them where they're at or whatever, and they're up to understanding the difference, so be it. But other than that, let folks come in and enjoy that experience. Be very welcoming to folks who may be different or whatever. And if you can, be a good host, be a good citizen, be a good ambassador towards them. Let's show them the best of what we have here. There's a lot of positive things about us here in Delaware County. There's a lot of positive things for us here in Chester. And again, this is my happy new year because I was just ready for this. And you're just going to see, nothing but smiles and laughter from me throughout this whole thing, because I've really been waiting for this. And I really want to thank you for coming on to this program and sharing this time with me. Sorry about the technical difficulty. I'll talk to my producer owner soon, and we'll get that fixed. But I look forward to seeing you on Friday. I look forward to being a part of anything that needs to be done. Andrea, I'm at your disposal. I'm dead serious. I'm at your disposal. I'm as a volunteer. Anything you let me know, and it's done. Seriously.
Thank you so much, Rich. Thank you for connecting me to the Chester community. I really hope that one of the legacies we can leave is greater awareness of what an amazing history Chester has, because people don't they don't remember what's in their own backyard, and we want people to know some of the history that is Chester's history is our American history, and every American should know it.
I want to say this too. Amateur documentaries of events, folks. Okay, it doesn't have to be something very grand. It could just be what you observe. Document what you observe, put it into this portal. Let these stories come forward as they unfold. Something's always going to be surrounding.
Strive Video Center has amazing resources for how community members can film sort of documentaries and stories like that. But when I say, so one of the questions we asked at the very beginning, and I know we're leaving, is, what history do we preserve and what history do we celebrate? And one of the challenges that a lot of the historical societies have is that the history that when they opened up their archives and they said, what are we going to make an exhibit on? What do we have on the shelf? Because we're volunteers and we have to figure it out this weekend. The history that they had was colonial white American history. That's what was preserved. Right. And so this is an opportunity for our minority culture. I mean, we have 7% of Delaware County is Asian American. I think it's about 10% or 5% is Hispanic American. For different history to become part of archival history. So if your family has mementos that you want to make sure are part of the American narrative, it is an opportunity to reach out to your local historical society or a place like the Delaware County Historical Society and talk about how those family artifacts can become part of a permanent collection. Because when we go to make exhibits, we look at what we've preserved. And if things aren't preserved, they're lost. And those stories are lost.
Absolutely.
So it is a time for us. And I know the statue, they put up a new statue right in Chester commemorating, I think she was the first UFC fighter from Chester. Forgive me. But, these are the times where we have to say, this history is important. We're going to name a street. We're going to put up a commemorative marker. We're going to make sure it's preserved. And if those things are happening and I know about them, I can share stories out across all Delaware County so everybody knows about them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why this is why I'm here at cmpradio.net here in Chester, the voice of Chester, is because Chester, a lot of folks, we know the story of Chester in the past. We know the story of Chester, not so recent past. But if a lot of folks would really understand why I come to Chester is because I see Chester moving, and a good part of it, and I mean a good part of it, is positive, very positive. And so for those who live here in Chester, there are eyes all on you. There are people watching your moves. They're looking at your mayor. They're looking at your council. They looked at you guys this summer. and saw the collectiveness. CMPradio.net with Fusion Fridays. We made sure that these kids had something to do other than what was going on in the past. And these are things that are successful. So if we can make things happen in our community, we can also bring the stories of our community as Black Americans, as a predominantly Black city. We have veterans that have served in every war. We have women who have served, in civilian capacities to help those that were service connected and service related. We have a lot of women that have been movers and shakers in Chester and have made history. And we need these stories to come out. We need the stories of Miss Sylvia Myers. We need the stories of people who started businesses and they've been mainstays here. And that history, that is American history. How is it that you have a business that's been successful for 50 years here in Chester? How is it that we have these women that have held together families and communities together for so long? For so long. We need to celebrate these stories. And all I'm saying to folks out there, wrap yourself up in your Americanism. Be proud to be American. Be proud of the accomplishments that we've made here in America. Yeah, we got problems. Yeah, we got problems. Yeah, we got problems. But one of the things that I take from Denzel Washington is what his mother told him. Racism is not your problem. His mother told him that. Racism is not your problem. Our problem is that how do we find connectivity with one another despite race, despite different things? How do we find that connectivity between each other? And all it starts with is simple conversation, a meal, or sharing these stories that connect us because somebody's going to have a bond somewhere. So for all of all of the restaurant people that are on my page, start putting your stuff together and get in this portal with Andrea, please. Please, I'm begging you. Please, I'm begging you. If you've never did anything I told you to do before, I'm telling you to do this one right now because it's wide open. If you're going to create a business, get your licenses together. Get all your certifications together. Make sure you have it so that way you're complete. And then if you need help with it, like Andrea said, they help develop you. They help steer you. They will help you. And don't forget to donate. Don't forget to donate, okay? That donation matters. All right, I'm saying it. She's not. I'm saying it. I'm saying it. That's why I bought a ticket so I can donate. And I'm working on becoming a sponsor. I'm working on it. I'm very serious about that. I'm going to find a way, even if I got to hit that low rung, even if I got to hit the small one, I'm going to hit it. That's my contribution because I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of this in any way, shape, form, or fashion that I can. So again, thank you so much for coming. For all of the folks that came in late, just go back and you'll hear everything that's been said. The rebroadcast will be back up and the recap will be back up. But Andrew, thank you so much. That information is up. Andrew, I'm going to see you on the flip side. See you Friday.
See you on Friday. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
You're welcome. All right, for everybody that's still holding on, okay, I want to say this to you right now. Chester, you are on the move. You have been given proper information, Chester. You've been given relevant information straight from the source, Chester. This is for everyone. Chester, don't blow it. Chester, get together. Chester, league up. Let's go, Chester. Let's go. There are no more excuses. We are no longer tolerating the excuses as to why we cannot connect or come together, Chester. Every nonprofit is feeling this way. The radio station is feeling that way. Rich Blye is feeling this way. America 250 PA is feeling this way. We are all going to get on that boat together. We are not going to feel bad if you miss the boat. Sorry. It has its passengers and it has its wave goodbyers. Don't be a person waving goodbye to the boat. Get on the boat. Get on the boat today. Find out more. If you don't take my word for it, see this beautiful woman right here? Take her word for it. She's taking time out of her day. I know she worked hard all day after probably working all weekend too, and took time out to come on this radio station, and trust me, it's worth it. So again, Chester, get on the move. We got enough gossip. We got enough finger pointing. We got enough silliness going on around here that can fill a boat. Let's fill it with some American love. I'll see you on the flip side.